Hello again, it is South Africa Tonight on this Friday evening. Now, children born in South Africa to foreign parents are eligible to apply for South African citizenship. This comes after a 4-year-long legal battle. The Constitutional Court concluded the agonizing journey for those who consider South Africa to be their home, with hopes that this offers them a happy ending. Well, to unpack all of this, I'm joined now by Minister of Home Affairs, Aaron Motsoaledi, to explain what this actually means. Minister, good evening, and thanks so much for your time. So, we did the story yesterday explaining what this ruling was. Just looking at Twitter and looking at social media, I'm not sure that South Africans completely grasp what this actually means. So the official word from Home Affairs, what does this ruling actually mean?
Yeah, they don't. And I listened to you interviewing quite a number of people yesterday, and I got very worried. Firstly, I need to explain what this judgment is all about. Firstly, I want to say this judgment, this issue should not even have gone to court. It was quite unfortunate that the matter even ended in court, because it was very clear and straightforward. Unfortunately, some legal people in Home Affairs handled it in a very clumsy way. It ended up being in court and being what it is today. What was happening here, Yuveka, is that in 1995, 1 year after democracy, South Africa passed its first Citizenship Act after democracy. It's Act number 88 of 1995, right? It was then realized in 2010 that there was something wrong with that Citizenship Act. It does not provide for children of foreign nationals who are born in South Africa, who have never gone anywhere else, but are born here, when they turn of age. Because ordinarily, children take the status of their parents. So it's not a problem when you are still a child. But when you turn an adult, it then becomes a problem, because you are no longer under the tutelage of your parents. Yeah. Then it was discovered that the Act in 1995 did not take that into consideration. The Department of Home Affairs did something very good, which unfortunately they spoiled later. The Department of Home Affairs made an amendment and inserted it in the Act. It's Amendment Section 4, Subsection 3, which then say any child born of parents who are not South Africans, when they turn a mayor, they've got a right to apply for citizenship, provided there are two provisos. If there are two ifs. If ever since they were born until they became a mayor, they lived in South Africa, they know no other country. Okay, they haven't lived anywhere else. They've never lived anywhere else. The second if is if their birth has been registered via the Birth and Death Registration Act. That's Act number 51 of 1991.
So how did that go wrong later then?
Yes, it went on wrong later because this amendment was done in 2010. The Act became effective, that means this amendment, Section 4, Subsection 3, in 2013. Now, in government, when you pass an Act, it will never be implemented until there are regulations. Where it went wrong is that the regulations were not promulgated. Yes. And that makes me, I must tell you, I'm not happy about that, of what the legal section did. They did not do regulations, which means even if the Act is passed, people cannot apply because they don't know what is the modus operandi of applying, because there are no regulations. So 6 people in 2017, 4 years after the law has been passed, then went to court and say, no, we have become of age, we want to apply via this Act, which has been passed by Parliament. But because there are no regulations, can the court allow us to use an affidavit under oath to apply? So
that 4-year-long battle, why did it have to be a 4-year-long battle if you say it was on the fault of the legal department of Home Affairs? And that this...
No, because they were negligent by not passing regulations, right? And then the matter goes to court to say people must apply by affidavits. Then they got scared, because when you apply by affidavit, a lot of things fall apart, if you know what I mean. An affidavit is under oath. You just have to say, I'm so and so, this is my situation and all that, I'm talking under oath and all that, and that must be considered. Whereas regulations are clearly, they've been consulted with the public, and that's why they are complaining, members of the public, because they were never consulted. So an affidavit is a very... It's quite very involved untidy. Yes. No, it's untidy with no rules. And then Home Affairs woke up and say, oh gosh, an affidavit. let's go to court to say, no, this can't happen.
Okay.
Now, having waited for 4 years, then in court, another issue then arose about retrospectivity. Usually, laws are not applied retrospectively. But the people who have applied said no. The department thought because of no retrospectivity in most laws, it will apply from people who are born after 2013. And the people said no, but I was born, if you look at the people, 96, 97, 98, they were said no.
So where do we stand now, Minister? I mean, you're on board with this? How do we move past all of that?
Well, if you look at the judgment,
delays were?
At the judgment, firstly, it allows the application by affidavit. But it says until the regulations, which were supposed to have been there in the first place. Yeah. Once we put regulations on, then we apply them.
So when will that happen? How will we?
No, we've already finalized them.
Okay.
In fact, I must state openly, I'm so unhappy I have to take action against certain people.
In your department?
Yes, because when the first judgment was made, it went to, they appealed to the Supreme Court of Appeal. Yeah. And it gave them 1 year to do the regulations. And they were still not done. Okay. Now the judgment is still saying, we give you a chance, please do the regulations. Once you do them, then affidavit will fall off. But in the meantime, anybody who comes by affidavit, then they must be catered for.
Can you give us a time frame when this will all be in place?
Well, look, a lawyer was hired outside the department to help. He just told me this morning that they've been presented. I'll check them on Monday. I still have to take them to cabinet and do consultations, unfortunately. If it was in our hands, the draft we have made will just be enough, but that's not how the legal process goes. Okay. It has to go to cabinet, then public consultations. But in the meantime, the court says anybody who applies, then there must be an affidavit. So
just give us very quickly the actual process, and if you can give it to me in a nutshell. Who can come and apply, and what do they need to have with them? What's the process?
Basically, if you look at the judgment and the act which Home Affairs did in the first place, but then neglected later, it will apply to people who were born 2002 backwards until 1994. Those are the people who will have turned 18. Now, let me tell you why people confuse it, because I had many people confusing this. I even went to the United Nations to ask. It's about citizenship by birth. People believe once you are born within the borders of a particular country, regardless of who gave birth to you, then you are a citizen of that country. Now, there are only 3 countries I know of who are practicing that. It's the US, it is New Zealand, it's Brazil. I understand New Zealand is pulling back. The US is doing that because they can be brutal in controlling their numbers. Other countries don't do it. It's either you become a citizen by naturalization or by other means, not simply by being born within the borders of that country. That's why even with this group, it doesn't say they become citizens. They say they are eligible to apply, which means we are still going to process the application.
Okay, yes. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for the explanation, but I think you've clarified it pretty well. And let us know how the legal action goes against those in your department.
Not legal action.
or whatever it is.
Yes, because we can't keep on allowing this type of clumsiness.
Causing so much upset
which causes so much confusion. It's clumsiness, basically what has happened.
Well, we'll continue to keep an eye on that. Thank you so much, Home Affairs Minister Aaron Motsoaledi there. Well,